Hello all, welcome to the post-match point with Keane and Paddy, where we talk football and beer for you to hear. Now then, today will be a review of Matchday 2, mainly the England-Scotland game, but we'll get into that shortly. Our guest today is Josh Jordan. Josh, how's it going?
Good to be back, boys, good to be back.
Good to have you back. What beer have you bought for us today then?
Well, as a certain Italian team, proving to be dark horses, I thought we'd go for a traditional Peroni.
Very nice.
Good choice.
Very nice indeed.
Safe option. Can't really go wrong with Peroni.
Sounds
I'll let
good.
you do the honours, boys.
The last beer was very nice, so...
Yeah, went for the Czech beer.
Yeah.
Strata Prava, I think it was. So, yeah, I think we got an 8 out of 10 on that one. So, Peroni, you can't really go wrong, can you? So, cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Cheers, boys.
That is a good beer.
Can't
That is a
go
good
wrong.
beer.
So, should we
Where
start?
do we start?
Where do we
start? Right. I'm going to make a start. And I'm going to start off by talking about the abysmal player that is Harry Kane. He has been absolutely horrendous this tournament. I mean, he's been non-existent the last 2 games. I've not got a good word to say about him. A few stats from the Scotland game. He had a total of 19 touches in the whole game, 10 first half touches. He had 63% pass completion box, and of those 19 touches, 1 of them was in the Scotland box. For your striker, that's horrendous.
Yeah, I think I don't disagree. I think he's not been performing, but then again, I don't think any of the front four have been that amazing. There's been no chemistry really. I don't think they've been working well together. I think Kane, he's come from a long season. I think he must be struggling in some kind of form with fitness. There must be something else going on. All the controversy around his transfer situation. I think there's a lot going on. I think it's a difficult one for me. I think Kane, because he's been such a talisman for England and Tottenham in the last almost 5 years now. It's hard to criticise him, but he has.
I just think
in these 2 games, I do agree with you. He hasn't done much.
I think
then again, no one has really.
No, I do. I know what you're saying. The front four, as a whole, haven't done much. So I'd be changing most, if not all of them. And I wouldn't be starting Kane next game. I don't think he's proved himself. Really, I know people say he's a world-class player, he's one of the best strikers in the world.
Which he is.
Yeah. But if he's not performing,
no, I agree.
In a tournament like this, you've got to make a change.
Yeah.
Josh, what do you think?
All I'll say is, do you think it's very easy, especially, I don't know if it's the traditional in the past of the English media and just like a fan sort of perspective, it's very easy to like target England captains, scapegoat, exactly. You go back to when Bex was captain, easy scapegoat. He wasn't captain in '98, but when he got sent off, that sort of against Argentina, he was like public enemy #1 sort of thing.
Yeah.
Wayne Rooney, when he was captain, scapegoated. I think even Lampard and Gerrard, when they were captain, they was just. And with
agree.
Kane, I don't know if it's just like because he plays for Spurs or if it's just like a mentality because he's the captain, because he is a world-class player and we don't have many in our squad. Who's proved it over the last few years. I think it's very easy to look at Harry Kane. I mean, you said it yourself, mate. What was it? 19 touches he had against Scotland. I'm pretty sure I saw it in the last 2 games he had against Croatia, and I thought he was poor against Croatia, I'll give you that. But Scotland, in my opinion, I'm not having it. 19 touches, most of them were dropping deep, and he's had combined in the both games 6 touches in the opposition box. That speaks volumes. You watch, you look at that game
Speaks
back.
volumes.
You look
I'm not sure about that.
You look at that game against Scotland. How many crosses do we get into the box that game? Reece James in particular, who has crossing ability. I don't know if that was Southgate tactics, telling him not to get forward because he was too scared to lose the game. But to me, there was countless times where it went out wide and Reece James played sideways or backwards pass. I've got nothing against Reece James, but tactically, and especially in the midfield, I thought the transition between Declan Rice, Mason Mount and Calvin Phillips was poor, trying to get it forward, and I think it's very easy to scapegoat Kane.
I'll go with that. mainly about the crosses in the box part, and Kane drops deep a lot. So I'm just going to put it out there that are the crosses not going in the box because there's no one in the box to put them to because Kane's dropping deep. So our striker is not in front of the goal in the 18-yard box where he should be. So he looks like no one to cross it into, or Sterling's like towards the left-hand side of the box.
Sterling's a big problem. So I mean, we'll come on to that, but that's a big issue
in modern football now. Unless you're look at the top teams in the world. How many of them run down the way and cross it in and head it into a striker? Like,
yeah, you don't see it.
It doesn't happen that much to think about. It's more the
creative players
nowadays. And the fullbacks will overlap. Yeah, I'll give you that.
However, the best striker in the world scored a goal from a cross with his head just the other day. Lewandowski. Yeah. They crossed it in. He was in the box. He scored. I mean, if Kane is in the box more, he's tall. He can head the ball very well. If he's in the box more and crosses go into him, eventually one of them will go in the back.
But at the same time,
we're not creating chances.
Poland were playing with Spain.
Yeah.
Yes.
Spain were dominating them the whole game, and Poland doesn't want to play that kind of football, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're not going to sit there and break Spain down.
No.
By going through them. They're going to be running down the wing. Every opportunity they get to put a free kick in the box, a cross in the box.
That's where they've got to take advantage.
I think that's
fine.
I get what you're saying.
But it worked.
Yeah.
It worked for them. They got the point against Spain. It kept them in the
kept them in there. So you're saying you were very in last episode about how Sweden sat back all day.
No, I'm not saying that because they didn't play. They didn't look like they played for the point.
Okay, let's put that with that.
Yeah, that's fine.
But
I just think, as your striker, he needs to be within the width of the penalty box, the 18-yard box, and he needs to stay forward. If in the England side, there is no need for him to drop deep. I can see it in Spurs because Spurs don't have the kind of creative midfield players that can create as much. Whereas when you've got Mount, Foden, Grealish when he comes into the pitch, they can all create anything. So there's no need for Kane to drop deep in order to try and create stuff, because if he's also trying to create, there's no one to create stuff for. Do you see what I'm saying?
I do get what you mean. I'm kind of one of them where Kane can drop deep. I'm not saying drop deep, but he can come looking for the ball, and he can play that 1-2 pass.
Yeah,
he can do that as well. But he needs to someone like. That's I think a problem where England are playing. If they're playing a 3 with Kane behind the 3, if you've got Foden, Mount,
I think even Sancho. So I think if Sancho plays, I think that's a massive difference to Kane.
I think, and it helps.
Yes, they're all inverted creative
definitely,
players. Because
it will help. I think it will help Kane if Sancho plays, because Foden isn't helping Kane because Foden's not.
He's getting wasted out.
He's not trying to like pushing down the line and get a cross in the box. Whereas Sancho will do that. We'll try and beat a man and pull it back to Kane, who's maybe still on the edge of the box.
So we've had our kind of. We can go back to Kane.
Yeah.
The other front 3, so we had Sterling,
get rid of all of
Mount.
them. I mean, I'd be dropping Sterling. I mean, everyone knows my views on Sterling. Anyway.
How he dropped 92 minutes.
Sterling, that is. I think we spoke about it last week. He got man of the match to score, but
he did nothing.
He didn't do anything really.
I'm saying that goal against Croatia, if he changed it against Czech Republic, which I think he has to, I'm really worried that goal against Croatia is ruined Grealish's tournament. Unless there's like a desperation for him to change it. I just felt had Sterling not scored, it would be a completely different tournament for Jack Grealish.
Sterling was woefully bad.
And
I don't understand why Foden wasn't amazing, but he was better than Sterling.
And for me, Foden's not playing in his best position.
The thing is, he plays out wide Foden for City, but the thing is, he's getting into all these areas. He's got quite. I mean, when you have like Kevin De Bruyne, Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, Rodri, like you've got these like top. Yeah, exactly. These top quality players
he's got to fit around them.
They'll get that final pass right. They're all in sync. Whereas it got to a point during that game, that midfield 3. I don't know if you noticed it, but especially those conditions, what I couldn't understand is, especially in the first half, they were playing those balls over top. It worked against Croatia because that surface was dry and it was fun to get. Mason Mount done it. I love Mason Mount, but he done it 2-3 times where he was trying to play that ball over top for Stone to run in behind. you can't do it in that surface. I mean, like, unless you get it perfect, it's just going to skid off. So it's like, that's why it was like really worrying in that middle. That Southgate didn't recognise it. It's like, right, we can't play it over the top like we did against Croatia. Where's our plan B? Because there was no passes, any sort of progression from the midfield to attack, playing through the middle. It was just sort of, they went sideways, backwards, went over the top, and then like repeat sort of thing. And it's whereas it was really worrying. We had no plan B against them. We played straight into their hands.
100%, and that's where Southgate, I think he should be looking at it and going, nothing's happening here. I need to make some proper wholesale changes.
Yeah.
As in, for me, I'd have been taking Mount off because he did nothing. I'd be dropping
Foden.
Foden.
I personally think Mount was of the four. Mount was the best.
Yeah, he did nothing wrong, but he did everything right.
Mount, he didn't have a decent game.
Yeah. So, but I'd still be taking him off. I'd be dropping Foden into that number 10 role and going, do what you want, just do whatever, do what you want, give it a go. I'd bring Sancho on the right, Grealish on the left, leave Kane up front, maybe not. I don't know.
I think the thing for
me, and then see what happens. And then if you can change it, if you change it and that works, you go, bang. That's my team.
We're drawing 0-0 and we made 2 subs the whole game. I think that speaks volumes of how the confidence that Southgate has in the rest of his squad.
Yeah.
That last 20 minutes, especially where like, if we wanted to, especially the attack option we got, we could have gone right. Exactly. He could have dropped one of them. I was screaming at half time. I know people were making a case of Grealish, and rightly so, he should have come on. I'd have brought Bellingham on, especially after 55, 60 minutes, because you don't see many box-to-box players, especially in English football now.
Yeah.
He could have been that difference, you know, getting the ball, carrying it up, leave Rice holding, and keep Mount on.
No, I'd have done
Have 2 number 8s with Bellingham, and then you got, I mean, I would have started off for Grealish, then you got, because even when Grealish come on, he was winning the 3 fouls, but like, that comes down to the tactics. It wasn't further up the pitch where he's better. I mean, Rashford come on, name me how many touches he had when he come with Kane. I couldn't name more than 5.
Rashford and Kane, I didn't understand, because you've got an out-and-out centre-forward in Calvert-Lewin sat there, and you bring on a winger who, when he's played for centre-forward for United, has not done very well.
That's nothing against Marcus Rashford, by the way.
If they just roll Rashford on the left wing for Sterling, I wouldn't mind that.
I mean, I couldn't believe Sterling didn't come off and Kane did, but like, that's nothing against Rashford going up top. That just completely like personifies everything that was wrong with Southgate's tactics. But Rashford done no different to Kane. That last it because he was involved, went putting cross in the box. It was just aimless, wasn't it? There was no idea.
And when Grealish came on, he didn't do much, but he got what, 20
minutes?
He was more exciting.
Yeah, he was.
He
tried to make things happen.
So if you give him
that midfield 3 was just so dead. There was just no idea. Someone to grab the game by the scruff of the neck and go, right, come on, let's get a few passes together, play through the middle, ask some questions. We didn't ask any questions.
I mean, just to outline quite how bad of a result it was, that was only the 2nd goalless draw at Wembley since the ground opened in 2007. And the last time there was a goalless draw was in 2010 against Montenegro in a European qualifier.
And let's be honest, Scotland had the better chances of the game.
Yeah, they did. Absolutely.
Scotland should have won.
Yeah, without that save from Pickford, they'd have won the game.
Was it O'Connell, the one who had the volley Pickford saved? And even Che Adams had that one, didn't he? That was blocked from, I think it was Stones. But definitely.
Next game, I'm making at least 3 changes. And that's
Should we talk about the back 4 first before we go into that?
Yeah, we can have a chat. We can have a chat about the back 4.
I think personally, we've had 2 clean sheets.
Yeah, you can't
do. I think we said Tyrone Mings. I thought he was our best player.
Yeah. I'll hold my hands up.
Really good.
I was completely against when I saw Tyrone Mings in the first lineup against Croatia.
He's been solid.
I thought he's just an accident waiting to happen, especially that quality. I know he's never played like the top end sort of like Champions League football against that sort of quality. I thought this is a massive step, but I'll tell you what, fair play to him.
He's done well.
He hasn't put a foot wrong.
He did well, but we've not played anyone yet that's properly tested us. Centre halves. And do you? Question for the 2 of you.
And ask Maguire, isn't it?
If he's fit, do you bring Maguire in or do you leave him?
I think Maguire's fit. He was on the bench, wasn't he?
Yeah, he declared himself fit, didn't he?
I think
before the game. But he's the Southgate favourite. It goes back to it, doesn't it? With like Sterling. But would you not change it if it's not broke? They've kept 2 clean sheets between them.
I would be bringing Maguire in. I've got to be honest. It would be a bit harsh on Mings because they've done well. They've kept clean sheets.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the Croatia game they had to do literally nothing. And to a bit more in the Scotland game. Again, not much. Sort of just from the centre half point of view. So I'd be bringing Maguire in for, I mean, it'd be for experience. Maguire is tried and tested and is a quality centre half. You play him against Czech Republic, get him warmed up, and then he plays in the round of 16 against.
I think it's harsh on
whoever
him,
we play.
but that's just.
It's got to be done, I think.
You got to be ruthless, haven't you? Especially we're getting to the stage now. You can't be sort of sentimental, that sort of thing. You've got to, if you've got a better player. I know you could argue is he fit? He's been out since what was it, second or third last game of the season when he had that injury.
Yeah.
Is there any case to, well, two options? Either you play Maguire and Mings, so no Stones. I don't think that can happen personally.
No.
No. Or you play a 3-back, change formation completely and play all three of them.
I think if you play a 3-back from now, you're buggering everything up.
Yeah.
If we were going into the second game, Maguire was definitely going to be fit, and you want to try it, you go, well, we've done a 4-back, let's try a 3-back, and then if that goes right or goes wrong, you stick with it or you change it for the next game. We're going to the last group game where we'll then go into
I agree.
the round of 16. If you play a 3-back and it doesn't work, then you go back to a 4-back, everyone's kind of out of sync.
Yeah. And I think if you play a 3-back, you don't normally play 3 out-and-out centre halves.
No.
One of them is a Luke Shaw or a Kyle Walker.
Yeah, definitely.
It was kind of more of a 4-back that can play centre
Shout out Luke Shaw as well, by the way. I didn't think he put a foot wrong.
I think Luke Shaw's good.
I thought him and Pickford, in my opinion, were the only ones. You know, you could walk out with at least like a sort of 7 out of 10 Mings, like a 7 out of 10. He did not put a foot on those. Even when Scotland were trying to break, he made some great interceptions as well, completely stifled the attack. And even when he was sort of going forward, didn't put a foot wrong.
No.
And I just thought it makes you wonder. I know opposing to Reece James, whether Southgate told him not to push up or attack so much. You don't know.
I don't understand, especially with playing with Phillips and Rice both in that team. That should give licence for the fullback.
Yeah,
do what you want
to go forward, definitely.
I think I agree with Luke Shaw. If you compare the two games, Trippier at left back and then Shaw at left back, Trippier did nothing wrong, but you didn't ever see him. Shaw was on the ball, he was trying to create stuff, he made some very good interceptions. I think you've got to stick with Shaw at left back now for the rest of the tournament.
I agree.
Whether you play a 4 or a 5 back, I'm sticking with him at left back.
Really good season as well,
So Reece James, I don't think he
did nothing to keep himself in the team.
He was really disappointed because when there was all those like rumours saying the 2 changes was the fullback, no problem whatsoever with that. I sort of thought,
give him a go.
No problem, because I thought Walker was hit and miss when against Croatia. There was many. He has that in him, even when he was at Spurs. Like he has that under pressure. It will just make like a sort of. He won't concentrate, like a reckless sort of pass, gives it away. But he sort of grew into it second half, like defensively done okay, seeing the ball out, kept Perisic quiet. But I think I just felt that was a real chance for James, especially with Trent being injured. That was a real chance for him to stay
if he comes in and makes a name for himself, he stays in that team.
Do you think now is the case for Tuesday night that we have Shaw on the left and then Trippier back on the right?
I mean, you could argue. I know a lot of people, including myself, didn't agree with Trippier starting left back. Did he put a foot wrong against Croatia? No, not saying he should start left back, but naturally, exactly. And like I just said, we've been crying out for crosses into the box. He's got that sort of understanding with Kane, played with him for 3-4 years.
No,
if Southgate does play Calvert-Lewin, who is another target man,
Brilliant.
You want someone. I'd be more than happy with that because I think Walker, he did nothing either way. He did nothing right, did nothing wrong. James was probably a bit worse than Walker.
He was just a bit like a rabbit in the headlights, wasn't he?
So
I don't know
you give Trippier a run in right back, and then you can go right. I've got these 3 performances in right back against what I would say teams of similar calibre. So it's not like you're playing one's playing a really poor team, one's playing a really good team, and then from the round of 16, you should be able to go right.
We need to know our best 11, don't we? That's the only worrying thing. I don't even think Southgate knows. No. So we need to.
But no, I'm making for next game at least 3 wholesale changes. I'm doing Grealish for Sterling.
Yeah.
I'm doing Mount for Sancho on the right, phone in the 10 role.
Yeah.
And then probably I wouldn't start Kane. I wouldn't, because it's a game where if we draw or lose, we're probably going through anyway.
So what's your gain from that then?
I think
So if you don't say you don't start Kane, and then
If you don't start,
let's say you don't start
right,
Kane, start Calvert-Lewin.
yeah,
Calvert-Lewin scores. You win 1-0. Now you go into the round of 16. Say we come second in the group or top of the group, whatever. It's the biggest game in our tournament now. Say you play France.
yeah,
You have Kane on the bench.
you starting Calvert-Lewin.
yeah. I know what you mean. It's a
I
difficult.
think it's one of them ones where I think
Because I'm inclined to say go with the form player, as in Calvert-Lewin will have only played one game, but he will have scored one more goal and arguably be on better form than Kane.
so if Calvert-Lewin
But-
scores, you'd drop Kane, would you?
See, I don't know. It's difficult.
I personally,
I'd be
I
giving
think,
Calvert-Lewin a chance.
I think you've got to keep Kane in for the fact to give him that goal. Once he scores that goal, I think,
Maybe.
Do you know what
I
it's
can
like?
see-
If
I
he
can
was
see an argument
missing,
for
if he
that.
was missing chance after chance,
yeah.
I mean, the
That's
thing
different.
I'd
Yeah.
understand. I'd be like, yeah, fair enough. I know albeit he's the captain, but we're not creating anything. We're literally not creating any. Like
Okay.
when the players has come off the back and win the Golden Boot and the Playmaker Award, I think only bar King,
Yeah.
2 other players done that. Andy Cole, can't remember the other one.
Really?
It's done that in Premier League history.
Yeah.
Does that not scream that the issue
No.
is with the manager?
To be fair, yeah, I'd probably
He's
leave him
literally
on.
just come off statistically the best season of his life, and we're
Right.
not creating
So
chances.
yeah, maybe leave him on then, and change.
I think
You've got to change
Sanchez
your bit,
got
you've
to
got to
start.
bring
Yeah,
Sancho on.
absolutely.
How he hasn't
You
played
change
in
Foden.
Crazy.
You bring
Absolutely
Sancho on, you
crazy.
put Foden at the 10 role, you change it up a bit, and if that works, you go, well, that's my starting 11 for
And Grealish in for Sterling
Grealish
on
and for
left.
Sterling,
Yeah.
and then
You-
Maguire for Mings. That will probably happen, but I don't
What's-
think that will change anything really.
I would potentially bring in Henderson as well. I don't know what your thoughts are on that. I think Phillips was outstanding in the first game, but do you want
It was a weird one because like
No,
to
I
keep 2
wouldn't.
CDMs or?
I would leave 2 CDMs. If you're playing 4 at the back, I don't mind 2 CDMs.
I think
I'd leave
Henderson,
him in there.
either
but
way, if Henderson doesn't start, he's got to get minutes, I think, because
see, I
I'd
think
leave
had
him
we
in there.
beat Scotland,
if he-
Henderson would have 100% started against Sheffield because we're already through, and it's like build his minutes similar to Maguire. I think Maguire would have been 100% in
team.
against
Yeah.
Czech Republic, but. Do you think he goes for it against them, like, or do you think he's happy just to draw the game
come on,
and finish
You
second?
cannot ever play for a point.
No.
If you play for a point,
You're gonna lose.
You're gonna lose, aren't you? Let's be honest. I mean, I wouldn't change the 2 defensive midfielders. I'd leave them both in there because Phillips had a really good game. Croatia, he didn't. I don't know if he had a poor game, but he wasn't about against Scotland. But then, if you say, oh well, Phillips didn't play very well against Scotland, so we'll take him out and put Henderson in. Why can you not advocate the same for Kane? That would be my argument for that. If you say take Phillips out because he played poorly against Scotland and put Henderson in, surely then because
No,
Kane's played poorly against Croatia and Scotland, you take him out and put Calvert-Lewin in.
But I think Kane keeps his place because of what Kane's done for England and for Tottenham before.
Yeah.
Phillips,
Maybe.
I mean, he's got. I think his
I'm not
records.
saying Phillips had a bad game against Scotland. I just don't think he was up
I just think
nowhere
this-
near the same.
No, I just think
But you
the
can see he's
approach
got it
was
in him.
different against
Yeah.
Scotland. How Scotland set up compared to Croatia.
Yeah, and
I think
thought
the Croatia game suited him more. Whereas when Scotland are sat back, and especially in those conditions, I know it's the same for both teams, but it's like you can't play those balls in behind on that skiddy surface.
I think for
so-
me, it seemed against Scotland we were too worried about
About
losing the game,
yeah,
and not
absolutely.
concentrating on trying to win it. So it was like, oh well, kind of go for it a little bit, but don't go for it too much because we don't want to lose. Because it puts, first of all, it puts a lot of pressure on our last game. Second of all, it's Scotland and we won't ever hear the end of it. So in the end, we just went. It ended up being a completely boring, crappy.
It's a cup
0-0
final,
draw.
isn't it? At the end of the
Well,
day,
exactly.
same with Wales.
So I think
cup
that
final.
was our issue. We were worried to too worried to lose the game, thinking about that too much, as opposed to just going. It does. We should every game. We should be like, doesn't matter who the opposition is. Doesn't matter who we're playing. We've got the quality. Because
Yeah.
if you look at all those players on paper, it's probably one of, if not maybe arguably the best team
It's
in
one
the
of the
European
best,
Championship.
100%.
You
Top
go,
three.
if you go out there and go for it, go and play, you will probably win the game.
Yeah.
If you go, oh, we just want to make sure we don't concede all that, the kind of crap that we did against Colombia in the
Yeah.
World Cup, and then we went and drew and ended up going to penalties. Whereas if after we'd scored, we'd gone right, we go and get another one. We can beat them. We didn't. He brought Eric Dyer on and went, oh, let's just try and hold this lead, which
Yeah.
we can't do.
Score the winning penalty.
So I think, personally, I
Yeah.
think changes for me, I'll keep Kane. I think I want to see Sancho start. I would potentially. I mean, Sterling doesn't play for me, so that either means Grealish starts to the left, or Grealish starts in the 10, and then you move out Mount and bring in a Rashford or something. But I just think Sancho has to get minutes. He has to start for me, and I would even like to see either Rice and Bellingham, Rice and Henderson.
Yeah, maybe.
I just want to see something.
It's a bit different in that middle. When teams are sat back, that's where I think Jude Bellingham should be brought on.
Yeah.
He just offers like.
One of the main things I want to see is Phil Foden in what I would call his best position in that number 10 role. Mason Mount has had his chance to play that like number 10 playmaker, kind of almost free roam.
Yeah.
And he's not done anything wrong, no, but he's not done anything overly right. He's not really created anything. So you take him off, you give Foden a chance there, you bring Sancho on the right, you have Grealish on the left, and then if it's not working, you want to change it up, you bring Rashford on for Foden, and then you put Rashford on the left, Grealish in the 10.
I think also some people say with Bellingham he's too young, he's not ready for tournament football. But you think
if young
Scotland,
enough.
Well, he's played the amount of Champions League games he's played. He's one of the best players against Man City.
Brilliant against Man City.
Also against Scotland, Billy Gilmore was.
There you go.
He's 19, 20 in middle of the park.
I don't think age matters. I don't think age matters at all. I mean, someone younger than Bellingham played for Poland, and they've, I think, now broken the record.
Yeah.
A few days younger than him, but I don't think age matters. If you've got the quality, give him a run.
That's the thing. I think with 20 minutes to go, 0-0, that is the perfect time to bring him on because
it's just
there's
let him do what he wants.
It's 0-0. What's the worst that can happen? You lose 1-0.
Yeah.
At that age,
and you've tried it, and it doesn't work, and then you know what does and doesn't work more.
Yeah. I mean, at that age, when you're 17 as well, like you're fearless, aren't you? You just want to. You're not especially in front of that Wembley crowd as well.
Yeah.
How many times does that happen? You're 17 years old and you break it through your first tournament, pretty much a home tournament. Like
you're not worried
relish that, wouldn't you?
In that age, you're not worried about making a mistake.
Of course you're not.
You make a mistake, you forget about it instantly, and you just crack on.
Yeah.
Like you don't care. You've got nothing to fear. But I think if he makes the right changes, I think we all agree that Sterling has to. For me, not even be in the squad. I think we all agree that Sancho needs minutes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Sancho went even in the actual squad the first game against Croatia. I know Saka went in the second game. I don't know if he picked up injury. But James Sancho not to be.
Oh, it's just mad. I don't
even on the bench the first game. I know we won it, but like
he's one of the best creative players.
He's got 20 assists.
Exactly. And Kane's not getting the service, as everyone keeps saying, which is fine. He's not getting the service. So bring on the most creative, or one of the most creative players you've got. And then if Kane's still not getting the chances, then something big is wrong.
Yeah, then there's a bigger problem,
I think, should we maybe move on to some of the other games in the match day? So we started off
Wednesday, Group A, Turkey 0, Wales 2, and Italy 3, Switzerland 0.
Yeah, Italy are very strong.
Italy are a very good side. I think now, more so than ever, strong contenders to win it.
Turkey once again disappointed massively. Massive result for Wales, that.
Yeah, huge.
I think they're pretty much
basically
through.
If they nick a point against Italy, then it'll be all right.
If not,
they should still go
got to
through.
beat Turkey, haven't they? So.
They have. Group B, we have Finland 0, Russia 1, and Denmark 1, Belgium 2. That means Belgium are through. They haven't necessarily won the group yet, but they are through. Very likely to win the group, considering I think they've got Finland left to play. I think.
Yeah, you're right.
De Bruyne just changed the game, didn't he?
He did.
When he just completely snapped his
I
fingers.
don't know why he didn't start. I don't know if there was a slight injury there or
he didn't start the first game, did he?
No. You can't leave someone like that out the team.
His eye all
You cannot leave someone like that out the team, as proven, really. Group C, you had Ukraine 2, North Macedonia 1, Netherlands 2, Austria 0.
Netherlands have won the group now, haven't they?
Netherlands have won the group.
They look good again.
I think North Macedonia are out. I think.
They've lost both games,
they've lost both. They can't go through now. Austria and Ukraine could both go through, and they've got to play each other, so that could be quite interesting. If they both get a point, they probably both go through.
Potentially on the third place, yeah.
If one wins and one loses, only 2 will go through from that group. but we'll see. That could be quite an interesting finale.
It could be interesting to see how many of these. Is this the first tournament where they've done the third place?
No, I
I
think
think
they did it in
it was
2016
2016 was the first.
It's quite
competition.
interesting. It's like now. So tomorrow we've got the games, the Italy game and the Wales game, Group A, and the Turkey-Switzerland game. So
Yeah.
you could be waiting on, say Switzerland win that game and Wales nick a point into Italy. So Switzerland are third on four points. But they're not going to know if they're through until
The end.
Well, yeah, I think
Two or three
they're playing at the same time, aren't they?
Yeah, what I mean is,
but then they wouldn't
if they
know
come
if they're
third, they won't know if they're one.
Oh, of
They
course,
will
yeah, because they
within
got to
the
wait
game.
on the other side.
It's kind of
Yeah,
a weird one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of a.
How do
do
you
you
play it?
celebrate?
It's
Do you
like-
not? Do you kind of? You kind of just got
you
to
kind of
you
hope.
just got to go for
Right.
a win, haven't you? You just got to
Well,
take,
yeah.
take care of your own business and
I do think everyone's saying, "Oh, if you get 4 points, you're very likely through." But I think there's a lot of
You don't know
teams.
how it plays.
There's a lot of teams on
3
4
points,
points, and there's
yeah.
a lot of teams that could end on 4 points.
Yeah.
So I think you will need at least 4 points and a good goal difference to go through.
Yeah, yeah.
I think. Group D, we had Croatia 1, Czech Republic 1, and England 0, Scotland 0.
Again, Croatia disappointed again.
Yeah, I mean, I maintain that they're not the fourth
They're not.
people
No,
think they
you
are.
called that.
They're a poor side. They're average at best. We should have battered them in the World Cup. We just didn't because
Yeah.
we bottled it. Czech Republic was a good point for them. They're probably through again. I think a point there is kind of, and a point for us. As much as it was horrendous,
it's
it
not the
could help.
worst.
It could
be
help
worse.
us in getting
Yeah.
second.
Yeah,
I know we don't want to play for second, but it could help.
It's
us.
one of them. I think if you look at going back to the England game, if you just said, if I said to you before a ball was kicked in the tournament, we had 4 points from 2 games playing Croatia and Scotland, would you have taken that?
I think, yeah, because
Well, they've
ideally
taken
you
it,
probably
but
would have said we would have drawn against
Yeah, that's
Croatia
where we're at.
and beat
That's the
Scotland.
thing.
Yeah,
So it's-
I'd have taken it, but not been happy with it.
Yeah.
Because we should have 9 points from this
Yeah.
group.
I mean, we're at home, aren't we, for all our group games
Yeah.
most of the tournament if we get that far. But yeah,
So it sets it up quite well for us to come second. I know we don't want to play for second. No one ever does play for second.
So, should we have that debate now about obviously in the World Cup it was the same where we played with Belgium and then
Yeah.
the winner of that game
It
was
was-
the easier,
yeah.
the harder route to the final.
it was
So,
a shootout for top.
what do you
wasn't
think?
it?
You in a situation where you think you should go out and win?
If you go out to draw a game, you will probably
Yeah.
lose it.
I think personally,
But then at the same time,
for me now, I think because we've drawn against Scotland, I think we've got to go out to win that game against Czech Republic. If we had 6 points in this game and we went out playing Calvert-Lewin, playing
Yeah,
Rashford,
and if we
playing
lose-
Bellingham, and
we
we
don't
lost, like
It's-
I don't mind that because
No.
we've given some players experience and we've already got that momentum of having 6 points.
100%.
Now that we've drawn against Scotland and almost gone back a step, I feel we have to go out there against Czech Republic and make a statement.
Absolutely.
I do think if we go, but I also think if we're hitting about the 60-70 minute mark and this 0-0 1-1, you maybe try and kind of go.
Yeah, you
a
read the
point
game.
for us here would be quite ideal in that we won't play France, Portugal, or Germany, and we'll play the likes of Sweden, Spain.
Yeah. So going on to that group, in Group E, we've got Sweden beats
Slovakia,
Slovakia,
Spain
1-0,
drew with
wasn't it?
Poland 1-1.
Spain again with Paul.
Spain were
Had
horrendous.
all the possession,
Didn't
No
know
end
what to
product,
do with
could
it.
they?
Didn't know what to do with it.
missed a penalty from.
I
Yeah.
can see them going out. I think flop. What you said was right.
Yeah.
I mean, your dark horse was shocking, but your flop I think was right. I can see them going out. I can see at least Slovakia getting a point, if not Slovakia beating them.
Yeah, well, it might not even be enough. Slovakia get a point, but then they're already ahead of Spain, aren't they? So,
Yeah. So Slovakia only really need a point.
and they might finish bottom if Poland beats Sweden, which is, let's be honest,
Possible.
that's very possible.
Yeah.
If
Poland have to go out to win that
Exactly.
game. So
Spain could even finish bottom. They might not even finish third.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think the Poland-Sweden
All
game
to
will
play
be
for,
one of the
innit?
and
I
then-
agree.
The Poland-Sweden game will be one of the most boring games of football you will watch because Sweden will go out to get a draw because that is all
Yeah, but
they
at the
need.
same time, Poland have got to win, so
I
they're
know.
going to be. all
Yeah,
over.
but I just think
All guns blazing.
it's just going to be horrendous.
Yeah.
And then Group F,
Group F,
we had
Group
Hungary
F.
1, France 1,
What result
Portugal
that
2,
is,
Germany
by the
4.
way?
That's a great result for Hungary.
Well, they won that, didn't they?
Yeah. How
Yeah.
good was it to see like a packed
Full,
out
full stadium.
in Budapest?
It's nice.
Yeah.
We won. That's what we want.
Unreal.
I mean, they said there'll be 40,000 in the
It's
final, I
arena.
think, semi-final, final.
Trial events, aren't they?
Yeah, which is
It's
going to
good.
be great. But no, it's a great result for Hungary. I mean, they can go through, and in doing so, they would knock out Germany, who they play.
Yeah.
Portugal, France. If there's a point in there, they both go through. Probably, I don't know.
It's one of them.
Germany have to go out to win.
Yeah.
France and Portugal could kind of have a gentleman's agreement, go, we'll just both have a
Could-
point
yeah.
here and call it a day. Do you know what I mean? They probably, obviously, they won't. They can't do that, but
Really?
yeah. But it's one of them, and it's
Yeah,
I don't
I think
know, it's
that
a
group
weird
is.
group.
Well, it always has been a group of death, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that France and Hungary have drawn, that kind of makes it even more difficult now because
Yeah.
they're all so close. It's got France
Yeah.
on 4, Germany and Portugal both on 3. Like,
100%. I mean, yeah, you would have expected after beating Germany, France would now be on 6 points,
And
then
they're through.
qualified and through, and then
Exactly.
and Portugal they'd have to go out and beat France.
yeah.
Whereas now they can kind of both play for a draw. They might do, and I mean, looking at how Portugal play, they're a very poor team. I don't think they'll play for a draw. They'll look like they're playing for a draw, but I don't think they will. They've just got nothing going for them, I don't think.
I agree, yeah.
They did get exposed though, didn't they? That game against Germany, there was a lot of, I know I was one of them, sort of had their eye on Portugal,
Yeah.
but there was a sort of a lot of weaknesses exposed
They've got
against Germany.
They've got some really creative players, but they don't seem to know what to do with the ball. It is like watching United. They just go sideways and backwards, and they don't know what to do with it.
I think they are dangerous on that counter attacks. The
Yeah.
Ronaldo goal was,
That goal was
very
literally
good.
classic
Very good.
on the counter, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Portugal one of them teams that I just wouldn't want to play.
Yeah,
I
we
don't
got
know
his,
what
we
you
got
mean,
history
yeah.
of them as well.
I
Haven't
don't know what it
we?
is about Portugal. I just don't.
I mean, after watching them watching Germany against Portugal, I would not want to come up against Germany because they played well. And with it, when England played Germany, it never ends well for us ever. We haven't beaten them in a tournament ever. We beat
in the
them.
World Cup final.
Well, a World Cup final, 1966.
West or
But that was-
whatever it was.
West
That was
Germany, wasn't it?
West Germany, and that was
Not like I
that
was
was the
there
last
on
time.
it,
That was the
but-
last time we beat them in a tournament.
Is it that true?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
beat
sure
them- beat them in friendlies a few
we
times.
beat them
haven't
in friendlies, but I mean, by the
And
rule,
the-
doesn't it?
remember that?
Who cares?
Lampard goal. Oh, still,
Oh,
Oh
to
mate,
this day.
just stuff like that. But
thanks. Seth.
I would not want to come up against Germany, even if they're playing horrendously poor. I still wouldn't want to come up against them.
Okay, so
because
let's say
we just will lose.
England win the group, and we play a second place of them 3. Who would you want to play out of France, Germany, and Portugal? Portugal, Josh.
I'd be wanting to play Portugal.
Germany. Honestly, even after that game against Portugal, there's, like I said on the first episode, they're still in transition. I know 2 of the goals, they did create a lot of chances, but 2 of the goals were in goals.
Yeah.
I know they've got to be in a position to sort of make that happen, but
I wouldn't.
it all comes down to how we said, like, if you see that game against Scotland, then yeah, it could get embarrassing.
Yeah,
But if we set up right and it's how he approaches it, even France against Hungary, I saw some weaknesses, especially Pavard, right back, getting in behind,
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't mind playing France.
where you can sort of
I
expose
think I
them.
wouldn't mind playing France because
The pressure's on them.
we're effectively underdogs, and if we go out and beat them, I think
Oh,
we've won the
it's a
tournament
massive statement.
because
Yeah.
the England players there go.
We can beat anyone.
We just beat the
World
World
Cup
Cup winners
Champions, yeah.
and the European finalists. Like
Mhm.
we can go and beat anyone
I
now.
think there's something saying, like you were saying earlier about English media, when England play a Scotland, a Czech Republic, they're expected to win. So
Yeah.
the pressure is on them massively. When we go into that game, even playing Portugal or Germany, not let alone France, they're a big international team.
England aren't
Yeah.
expected to win.
That's the thing, especially in
It's
tournament
just-
football.
even
I think
against
we'll
any of them, it'd be,
perform
it'd be
better.
nice.
We'll perform better against a stronger team, I
Yeah.
think, personally.
Yeah, I do, as long as we don't try and rely on our defending.
Yeah.
If we go 1-0 up and then go, oh, we'll chuck Henderson on for Mount and try and keep him
I
out,
think
we
we've
won't
got,
do it.
we've got to go toe to toe. We can't
Yes,
sit back.
that's what I maintain for England against any team, even if, like you play a France, best team in the world. You have to go out to score goals, and you cannot sit back and go, oh, we'll play on the counter and we'll try and do what we can. You've got to be like you say, toe to toe with them, get out, give as bad as you get really. Otherwise, you lose the game.
If we played Germany-Portugal, would you say we're favourites? Honestly.
Germany, no.
Both of them, would you,
Portugal,
would you
maybe.
consider...
I think
Germany, no. Portugal,
if
maybe.
we'd have come out of that group with 9 points, confidence, I'd have said yes. now, after the Scotland game, we'll obviously wait to see how the Czech Republic game goes. I honestly, I couldn't call it.
No,
We
It's
put
two
we
sides
we
to
put
it.
On our
ourselves
day,
in
I
a
think
sticky
England-
position drawing against
Okay.
Scotland. I think.
Yeah.
So
We've gone through the England game. We've gone through the groups.
it's a very interesting finale.
It is.
It's gonna.
I'm looking forward to it. I love,
It's gonna
love
be-
tournament football.
yeah,
It's literally anything.
all
can
the
happen.
play for it now.
Do you want to give us your stat? Have you got
My
a stat? Have you got a
stats.
story? What have you got for
I've
us
got
today,
it's a
mate?
bit of a fact.
Ah, love
So-
the fact.
How many times has a team appeared?
There's a question.
Yeah. So how many times do you think has a team appeared in the European Championship finals without winning it? What's the most amount of times that a team
When
has
you qualified for it.
been in the Euros, as like for example England or Scotland or Belgium are now, without winning it?
How many have there been in total?
I'm not sure. Nine probably.
I'm going to say. Oh, surely England have been all of them, haven't
I don't have
we've-
it. I think there's
yeah, we've
I
never
think
won
there's
it
been
at the
more than
Euros.
nine.
they? I'm going to say 7.
No, the answer is 9,
Oh.
and the country is England.
England, yeah, so
England,
never won it.
England have the most championship final appearances without winning the tournament. On
I mean,
9.
Hopefully it changes this year.
It's quite embarrassing, really. I think, given this, given the fact that we hail the Premier League as the best league in the world, which I maintain that it is.
Yeah, but that's
I know that's foreign players, but also all of the English players up until recently always played in the Premier League.
That's true. I agree.
So we should.
I
always be
personally
proud of these tournaments.
think the Euros is almost harder than the World Cup
It is
because
yeah, it
think
is.
of the World Cup, got all the teams in the Euros, and who can win that other than the Euro teams is
South
Brazil,
American sides,
maybe.
Argentina.
I don't even.
Anyone else
I
other
don't,
than
even,
that?
don't even know about Argentina, but yeah, exactly. So and you play.
And
you
the Euro-
play more.
The lower
worse
tier
teams.
European teams, the likes of Switzerland, the likes of Denmark, they're better than Costa
like
Rica,
Panama.
Who
Who we played in the
Yeah.
World Cup, lost 1-6.
and there's more rounds in that as well.
Yeah.
I think the Euros is harder than the World Cup personally.
Yeah. No, I'd agree with that.
But yeah, anyway. Beer,
Beer.
strong choice. We all know Peroni.
Can't go wrong.
I think
It's got to be a 9.
If it wasn't a Peroni, I'd
Yeah.
go higher. But because it's a Peroni and I know it, I'm just giving it an 8.
I'm giving it a 9 because it's a Peroni. It's a nice beer. You cannot go wrong with it.
I'll take that an 8 and a 9.
I'm going
Yeah,
with
so
a
no,
9.
well, both
choices.
choices, but yeah,
You
don't
got
count.
done well.
Strong
You've done
starts.
very
Strong
well.
starts.
So we look forward to the review of Matchday 3, and we'll know.
Yeah.
Tuesday
We'll,
night.
we can also look forward to the round of 16 games.
Hopefully
then.
we'll know who's playing who's won the groups, who's gone
Well,
out, things like that.
sure we will. won't
We
we,
should
after
do.
The whole
Well, yeah,
3
hopefully.
games.
You would think so.
You would like to think so.
But
so when is the last
strange things
game?
happen.
Do we know?
The last game,
Is
With-
the Wednesday we've got.
Wednesday.
So we're playing Tuesday, don't we, 8 o'clock?
Yeah, so probably episode go live on the Friday maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
We'll try and
That's
record
probably
on
about
Thursday.
right.
Or we could do a watch along on the Wednesday night again
Yeah,
for the Portugal France game, 9 o'clock.
that'd be good.
Good
I think
game,
that'd be
good
quite a
game.
good shout, to be honest. Yeah, so if you haven't already, make sure you're following our other platforms: TikTok, Instagram, listening on Spotify, watching on YouTube, anything like that. Give us a like, give us a subscribe or a follow, whatever it might be. Tell your friends, tell your mates, get them listening,
And your parents.
and your parents, get them all listening.
Nice one.
Right.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.